Did he jump before being pushed? Gary Lineker less vocal in public than online. Sharing an anti-Semitic trope on Instagram caused his premature BBC departure, and that was the platform to announce it.
Last week I shared a post here on Instagram that contained an emoji that has awful connotations. Unfortunately, I did not see the emoji. If I had, I would never ever have shared it. The minute I was made aware, I quickly deleted the post and went on to make an apology. I would like once again to say I'm sorry unreservedly for the hurt and upset caused. It was a genuine mistake and oversight, but I should have been more diligent.
This was the understated sign-off from Saturday's FA Cup final.
For now, goodbye.
The final goodbye will be on Sunday. It was always intended to be his last match of the day, but now he won't be staying to present the FA Cup and World Cup next season as planned. Ultimately, Gary Lineker didn't want to be constrained by the impartiality rules the BBC staff here have to abide by. On Gaza, he claims silence equated to complicity. But even he accepted he crossed the line with a post he insisted wasn't knowingly anti-Semitic, but was deleted. The apology wasn't enough to save him, ending his 3 decades on the BBC in scandal rather than celebration. The BBC's Director General, Tim Davies, said, "Gary has acknowledged the mistake he made. Accordingly, we have agreed he will step back from further presenting after this season. We want to thank him for the contribution he has made." The BBC turned the former England captain into an accomplished broadcaster and the face of football, handed the prime Premier League highlight slot in 1999 and eventually the BBC's biggest salary. But finding his voice politically in public became increasingly problematic and a lightning rod for the BBC's critics. They tried to rein him in, comparing the then Tory government's migration policies to the rhetoric of 1930s Germany led to a suspension. Solidarity from colleagues produced this unprecedented programme 2 years ago with no other voices. But the BBC climbed down. Lineker was allowed back and allowed to say as he pleased elsewhere. But the boundaries of acceptable commentary on the Israel-Hamas conflict were stretched to the limit. And for one of Lineker's former bosses, this isn't about denying him a social conscience, but offence that damages the BBC.
Of course, people can have the right to speak out, but you are representing all the licence fee payers who pay your salary. And it's very hard in those cases to take strongly political positions in which you are essentially disagreeing with half the people who support your salary. So that's why I think the BBC has to be impartial.
After being a fixture of football coverage, a television era is ending. Gary Lineker has a flourishing podcasting empire to focus on. Even freer to speak out beyond football, it won't be the BBC's problem anymore.